Welcome to Tarot and Tea with Stephanie. I'm Stephanie, and this is your weekly energy wave and intuitive tarot forecast. Today, in this sacred space, we ride the cosmic tides to gain the guidance and wisdom of this week's currents. So grab your tea, grab your surfboard, and let's go catch those waves. Welcome to Creators on the Crest, where we rise with the tide and align with the truth. Today's tea is a black spice chai tea. I did not add anything to it. It's just the pure black spice chai. This actually contains black tea, cinnamon chips, fennel seed, orange peel, cardamom pods, yum, black peppercorns, cloves, ginger root, bay leaf, all organic, and it is just such a lovely blend. Okay, and these are the little Turkish teacups that Jason gifted me for my birthday, and I just love this little set. Okay, so we're gonna set the tea aside, and we're gonna just kind of talk about what's going on. Today's channeled message really comes in relationship, once again, to Three Eye Atlas. Some of you may remember a few lives ago, I did a Frequency Friday talking about Three Eye Atlas. Well, coming up this week on, I believe it's the 29th of October, Three Eye Atlas will be reaching Perihelion. Perihelion is when an object is closest to the sun. And this Three Eye Atlas interstellar object is going to be closest to the sun on the 29th. I'm going to read you a few facts here because I do enjoy learning about the science behind things, and I know some of you do too. I have a degree in biology and I absolutely love the sciences. And so Three Eye Atlas is going to be at about 1.35 AU astronomical units. At that point, as it's going past the sun, it's going to be moving extremely fast on the order of approximately 68 kilometers per second. Can you imagine if you could run 68 kilometers? That's the length approximately of a football field per second, 68 of those. Wow. Just to give you an idea of how fast this thing is moving. So it's going to be experiencing all the energies of like solar radiation, all those solar flares that are going on, the heat, the gravitational potential, everything for that object at the time it is in perihelion is going to be maximized, right? And this really represents a crossroads, a turning point. And really that's what our message is about today. So when we shift it into working with ourselves internally, we're thinking about our inner light, our inner core. We have people and ideas and emotions that travel and really come close to our core, right? Or come near our core. We get activated, we get energized, we get, dare I say, triggered at times by certain things when they come into our zone of our own inner light. That's where we're illuminating what works for us and what doesn't. So you can bet this time when Three Eye Atlas is at perihelion or near the sun, the core of the sun, which is the core of our solar system, that your inner solar system is going to be feeling this through a deep transformation. We're also in Scorpio season, right? And so we're already taking that deep dive. We still, of course, have the water grand trine energies going on for us. We're really going to get into things with our tarot reading today. I do imagine it's going to be a little deeper, which will be fun. It is Scorpio season after all. We're going to do the Celtic Cross spread that I love to do. I feel like that in and of itself goes deep and is a thorough reading. But we're really looking to come close to our core space, see what's going on in there, see what needs transformation, and be able to illuminate the things that maybe aren't adding up or aren't making sense in our life. So if there's been confusion, if there's been indecision, I can say that this is going to be an opportunity for these things to be illuminated, but on a very deep, core, close, intense level with lots of energy, potential energy, kinetic energy, heat energy, and transfer. All of this has resonance in the sense that it's meant to purify and uplift and elevate you through this purification process, which is part of alchemy after all. Some of you who are sensitive, especially with mediumship abilities, this is going to be a time, along with this perihelion and Halloween season, right? Dia de los Muertos, where the veil is thinner. These things are going to be coming up for you. You may find yourself to be extremely sensitive. This may feel like a more otherworldly kind of time for you than it has in the past. So there may be some very interesting and perhaps even strange dreams that you're having. The psychic weather last week was to pay attention to those dreams. We will carry that also into this week as well. But this is also about coming home to yourself. This is also about going deep within. This is that transformation, almost where you're turning yourself inside out. It really is a homecoming to your greater being. So that's what's really cool about this, is deep inside, the light of your inner being is really going to be informing you. So as different things come into your energetic awareness, it's going to be interesting to see if you get a new perspective on something or someone, or something comes to light, like a secret comes to light because you are shining that inner light energy upon it. I would brace yourself for a little momentum during this week. I don't think it's going to be tornadic or hurricane kind of energy. I don't think that we're there yet. We may have a little bit of that as the season continues, but this is more that kind of energy of batten down the hatches, going through the storm. But it's a very positive and powerful transformational time if you're doing the work, if you're doing the real great work, which is integrating both light and shadow. Another thing to keep in mind is that I really do believe this transit of the next week that we're going through is going to leave you changed. And it's going to leave you changed for the better, okay? That's where the opportunity lies. So if you can find a way to embrace the energies that are going on and keep shining your inner light on whatever comes into your energetic field, I really feel you're going to be very successful and pleased with the outcome for yourself personally. The metaphor that I want to present is we've got the sun, and the sun is representing your higher intelligence, your greater being, your innermost higher self. And the perihelion, the closeness of that light and your close alignment to it, is going to be known and felt in your physical body. And your physical body is going to be changed by that illumination. It's going to depend on your personal blueprint as to if you experience that with heat, like hot flashes, if it's pressure, like ear pressure, equilibrium, homeostasis, or maybe just random aches and pains or little fleeting moments of sharpness that pass quickly. You are the cosmic visitor, meeting your moment of closest approach to the sun, to your solar energy, your source, your truth. That includes connection to the divine. The fire may intensify, and with the water grand trine, the storms may intensify, depending once again on your blueprint. But the acceleration from turning yourself inside out and then ending up in someplace different and unexpected and pleasantly surprising, that's what we're going for here. If you are someone who likes to stay safe and comfortable, this may be a difficult time for you. So I do have some tips. Stay tuned for the psychic weather forecast after our tarot reading. Let's go ahead and get creating and jump into the tarot reading right now. Creators, just some reminders as I pull the cards and lay the spread that these are general readings, and above and beyond anything that is shared, I always encourage every creator, every individual to trust your own inner guidance system, trust your own intuition, make up your own mind through applying critical thinking, through trivium and quadrivium approaches. These are the ways that you can really access what's important for you and how it will move you beneficially through your life. Also, this reading in particular is approached as timeless. So even though I am reading the week's energies and doing the psychic weather forecast, this particular reading has a timeless note to it. So I want you to enjoy it anytime you find it. Creators, today I'm using the cute little Kawaii Tarot deck. Absolutely love this cute little deck. It's so much fun. And with the intensity of Scorpio season and the depth that we're going into, I thought it would be fun to keep it a little lighter in the actual cards themselves. So let's see what we got. Our current energies, yeah, guess what? We got the Death card, everyone. We got the Death card. This is the Scorpio energy that we're in. So creators, your greater beings have just informed me, hey, I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm getting this Perihelion thing you're talking about, and I'm willing to go deeper. I'm willing to go into the depths of my own inner being here. I'm ready to be transformed. I'm ready to be turned inside out. Now let's see what the challenge is here though, creators. 5 of Cups. Oh my goodness. So yes, this is exciting. Yes, this is transformative. Yes, this is so much fun, but emotionally, I'm feeling a little rocked here. Okay. With this 5 of Cups, this represents sadness. This represents feeling a bit melancholy, maybe feeling for some of you a bit depressed here and there. I don't really sense that that's a super long lasting energy for any of you, but it may just be like a day of the blues, like a dreary day. Maybe you just want to curl up in bed with a good book and rest and take a nap and eat some good food. Okay, I get it. That may be a part of this process for you as you move through the energies of this reading. It's very interesting also that at the time of this reading, so some of the energies that are grounding in this timeless message have to do with the water ground trine. And so there are emotional energies on top of transformation, and it's not abnormal anytime you are going through a transformation for emotional energies to arise, because there may be things as part of the transformation that need to be purged, purified, and processed. And that's what we're up against. So we're like all here for it. Okay, we're all here for it. Yes, universe, greater being, my sacred connection to the divine. I am ready. Turn me inside out. But I don't want to cry. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to have to release all this. I thought I was done with that. I thought I could have a break from that. No, that is the nature of what I'm seeing in the reading as part of the expansion, part of what you are becoming, part of your evolution. In your needed focus, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Empress represented by this adorable, cute little pink poodle who's all dressed up and little fancy pants here, okay? This also represents mother energies, and I am sensing for some of you there are going to be some depths of emotions. That challenging emotion coming up is coming up around mother wounding, mother issues. It's rough, isn't it? It's rough because our instincts always tell us to love our mother, to love them deeply, but there's also this awareness where the love exists and the pain, and some of you have had mothers that have abandoned you, or you have been quite abused by your mother, and everything in between, right? And so there can exist in us this almost fractured sense of self when that is the case. Many of you just have little situational things to resolve with mom or mother energy, mother, grandmother, the maternal line. Others of you, it goes much deeper, right? Into the way that you now raise your children, the way you mother now in your world, right? Or the type of female relationships that you have could also be impacted here. This goes for men as well. Men, your relationships with women now are reflecting back to your relationship to your mother. So take a look at that. What might you be unrealistically looking for in your current partner, guys, that really was supposed to come from your mom or did come from your mom and she's no longer there? And can you transform and release those expectations on the women that are currently in your life and letting them have a different role? Whew, Whew, I can't wait to clarify this because it's already going deep even on the first pass here of the cards. In our past place, we have the Page of Wands. This is kind of that energy of, you know what, I feel fired up, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to explore. Maybe some of you were wrapped up in the energies of launching something, or the kids were going back to school, right? This kind of active energy was starting to build, but we're seeing it here in the past. So it's going to be really interesting to see if, did something start up and then kind of fizzle out? Did you end up changing directions? Because with this Page of Wands in the past, this indicates to me that you're willing to leave something that you were once passionate about, or that you once had an inspired idea about, behind, or maybe just on the shelf for right now. Moving into the future position, we have the Four of Cups. Now remember, the challenge is the Five of Cups, this sad little seal here. The Four of Cups is represented by a sad little lobster that's sitting on top of a treasure chest. There is a wealth of information and experiences that have built up in the emotional body here. Even though it feels big and overwhelming and this treasure chest is overflowing, this is treasure. But why aren't we going in there? There is so much to be gained from going deeper into your emotional body, into your emotional energies. You know how it goes. The universe will try to kind of give you an indicator, and maybe this tarot reading today, this message is one of those indicators to you. It's time to go deep. It's time to deal with some of this. Pick one of these things out of the treasure box and work with it at least. And if you don't listen, the universe has a way of starting to tap you and getting a little more forceful. And I think we're upon that now. And that's coming up. You're going to have to take a look at this since it's coming up in the future position. Whatever those ignored emotions might be, now's the time to go ahead and begin working with them, because we have such an opportunity of transformation here in our current energies. In the position where you feel the most empowered, so these are the energies where you feel uplifted, empowered, like you're like, yes, I'm on it with my greater being, and here we go, like I'm in alignment. We got the Page of Cups. So interesting, a Page of Wands in the past, but the Page of Cups in this place of empowerment, indicating what I've been saying, that these emotional energies, if we work with them properly and in a healthy manner, are going to actually open up something for us. Now, for some of you, you've done this kind of work before, but you're coming up on a new cycle. For some of you, you actually may process this emotional energy with a lot more ease and grace and smoothness than you have in the past. So if you're like, well, Stephanie, I'm not really getting emotional and I can't fake cry, I don't want to force tears. Absolutely. You may be transforming it in a different way. So you want to be sure to scan your body and see where you might be holding a little bit. It would probably be a really good time for some body work or a massage as well, because emotional energy can get trapped in the fascia and the muscles of the body. So that's also coming up as a thing that might be very, very helpful. But I like this because I feel like this is us being creators. We're catching the wave here. We feel empowered when we do. We feel empowered when these emotions get released, whether it's through tears or fascia release or lymphatic drainage, right? These are the types of things that are going to be beneficial. I'm also, for some of you, I'm getting like water cleansing. So hydration, of course, is important. Going into our area where we have support and we have camaraderie, both from our physical friends and circles and also our spirit team, we got the Three of Cups. We're being celebrated for this. This is what I like so much, because I think sometimes we can feel like, is anything really happening? And I'm going through these hard emotions and I'm processing, what difference is it making? Yeah, maybe I feel better, but the world around me is not changing. It's just getting crazier. And our spirit team, our guides, our holy medicine people are all saying, oh no, my dear, like you might not be able to see in the effects field exactly how the work that you're doing is paying off, but we celebrate you, we honor you. When we meet with you again, in whatever way we commune or meet with you, you are to be celebrated for going through this, for turning yourself inside out, evolving yourself. This is the kind of thing that's celebrated in those dimensional realities that we will be evolving through. And so those reflections are coming back down to us now, which is really quite a gift. Alongside that, in our environment, we have the Six of Cups. Some of you, while you're going through this emotional processing or purging, however it comes about for you, this transformation, you're going to be visibly seen and recognized. This could be a time while you're going through some of these depths where all of a sudden you're recognized for something. Someone or something like shouts you out. One of your videos goes viral. This is the kind of energy that all of a sudden, whoa, I'm seen. Now, if you're a little bit concerned or fearful of being vulnerable, that's going to be a little bit tougher for you, right? But this is in your environment right now. So something about your environment has you seen. I feel that the Three of Cups and the Six of Cups is very complementary though, and I like the progression here. The only hard part about it is those little subconscious spaces where we might feel like, oh, I'm not ready, I'm still afraid, that kind of energy. In our hopes and fears, we have the Two of Cups. We want healthy, balanced partnerships, but we fear sometimes when we go through these deep transformative processes and turn ourselves inside out, is that going to affect my partnership in a good way? For those of you who are with someone, you're like, I'm changing. Are they going to change too? Are they not going to change? Is this going to be cohesive and receptive when I'm done turning myself inside out here and I'm at the next phase of my evolution? There's a lot of questions here. There's fears and there's also hopes in all of this with partnerships. For some of you, it's business partner related. Am I going to continue to be able to work with that illustrator or that photographer? Their viewpoints just differ from mine so greatly. I love their photography, but is this something where I need to find someone who's more in alignment? Those are the kind of relational energies that are in the subconscious floating around. And so we're hopeful in some cases that these things work out, but there'll also be the need to be realistic about it as you're going through the process and when you come out on the other side and this new version of yourself is showing up. In the potential outcome, we got the Nine of Wands. Y'all, this is a bit of a card. We've got the panda on top of the lollipops. Maybe they ate a little bit too much sugar. Watch out for things like that. Take care of your blood sugar. Take care of your health. I'm definitely getting that. This is kind of feeling a little battered, a little beat up, and a little bit like when we come to the end of all this, I might need a nap. I might need a rest. I might need not to attend Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, family functions for the next year. I might need a break, right? And that's what's coming up in the outcome. We'll have to clarify to get a little more depth on that. To clarify, though, we are going to use the cute little Everyday Tarot. I love this. It's a great little travel deck, little purpley deck. And I'm going to get a sip of my black spice chai tea. And it's just so refreshing. I can really taste the cloves and the fennel and the different herbs and spices in there. I love it. All right. Whew, these cards need cleansing. I can tell. Little extra cleansing there for this reading. Okay, we're going to clarify that death card first, which is in our current energies, right? The energies of transformation, are upon us. These cards are a stickin'. Oh, okay. To clarify the death card, we got the King of Swords and the Hermit. I'm going to hold that a little bit closer so you can see. The King of Swords, a very determined energy, very confident, especially in communications. So admits this transformation, and maybe this is why it's coming up in your environment that you're being seen with this. I do think there's a level of communication. You are talking to somebody about what you're going through. And I think that's a very healthy angle. We also have the Hermit here. So the Death and the Hermit card, major arcana cards, indicating that internal internal time where we're going deep within our core. We're in that perihelion. We're very close to the sun. We have a different relationship to the shadows that are emerging, right? And the light is all consuming. There's going to be things within you that you resolve with yourself. This is kind of like having those little come to Jesus talks, but with yourself here with this Hermit and Death card. And so I think some of you are going to be getting really honest with yourself. Again, these conversations could be just you with you, but I also think you're being witnessed and even celebrated here for this kind of transformation that you're doing. Let's look at this Five of Cups. I also want to say that some of you are practicing your communication in a way to make sure that your words are sharp in the sense that they're truthful, but not sharp in the sense that they hurt and are cutting. So some of you have your conscious awareness on that right now, and through going deeper within, there may be some emotional energies connected to that. I'm feeling that bridge happening for some of you. Let's look at the Five of Cups and get this clarified. Oh, yep, that one definitely wanted to come out. Yes, and so now we're having some of the major arcana dance through these energies. So the Five of Cups is that sadness, that challenge. Like I said, for some of you, it won't be as challenging as it was before. We have the Justice card and the Fool here. These are two more major arcanas. Let's get those nice and close so you can see those. With this Five of Cups energy, this to me really feels good in the sense that the Justice card is all about coming into balance, bringing our emotional body into balance. We have to acknowledge it first, but once we bring those emotions into balance, right? Some of you, if you have the unresolved emotions like grief or anger, and I would also say keep an eye out for people who have that, who have not dealt with these. This is a time and an opportunity where people around you are going to be brought into alignment, brought into that balanced energy as well. Now, some people will fight against that, and I'm feeling the need to tell some of you, some people will fight against this energy. But with you in this place of transformation and perihelion and this illumination within yourself, that solar spark within yourself, your soul spark, your heart core essence, you're right in there in the depths, you're going to be able to see this. And that's what's really nice. And the opportunity for new and fresh energies to come in through this challenging emotional time, or through this emotional processing time, for those of you where it is going to be a little bit easier. This is an energy that says to you, let's release some burdens. Let's travel a little lighter than we have before. So for those of you who have been doing and you're comfortable with the shadow work, and you don't shy away from going into those emotional energies, and maybe you're this kind of person that's constantly processing, right? Throughout your day even, and you're just doing a really good job of keeping things fresh, and you know, maybe you're in the energy where most of the time you're happy. You're like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good because I've really worked through some stuff. Of course, days come up, few hours come up, we get triggered, we get activated, that kind of thing. But the Fool's energy here is saying, can you learn to travel a little lighter going forward? Because sometimes when these things come up, people glom onto them and they get drawn into like a dense drama vortex, okay? And the Fool's energy does not like that. The Fool's energy wants to drop in light, wants to travel light, wants to be like the wind beneath your wings, right? It's that kind of uplifting energy. It's on to something new. Now, it can represent a naivety in some people. So, you know, maybe for some of you, as you are exploring that inner world, you may be rediscovering the innocence within, which is really honestly beautiful. The naive little child in you who maybe came in all clean and clear before the world got a hold of them. And that could present an emotional response for you as well. There could be a little bit of grieving of that part of your life. Those little precious moments is what I'm getting. And I'm even seeing those little, remember those little precious moments collectibles, those little figurines, the Holly Hobby and the precious moments. That's the kind of energy, that nostalgia, that sentiment that's coming up with that Fool energy as well. And that can be challenging in the sense of like, oh, I know if I go there, I'm going to be feeling that quite deeply. Now, remember in our needed focus where we had the Empress as this fancy poodle, fancy pregnant poodle here, we got the Four of Wands and the Hierophant. Some really interesting mixes of the major arcana cards, everyone. The Hierophant and the Empress. Normally, you'd be looking for the Emperor with the Empress, but in this particular case, we're having some sort of stabilized yet spiritual experience. Stabilized from the sense of the Four of Wands is like, I've built a foundation. For some of you, this represents your connection to God, creator source, the divine. I prefer natural prime creator of the universe. So you're really like embedded in that connection. And so that stable connection yields for you a greater sense of connection to your spiritual nature. I'm also getting the word untouchable, where like with this Hierophant energy, some of you are going to be able to let go of sweating some of the snarky, small, little stuff, that the little zings, the troll energy, the barbs, you know, these little barb kind of energies, the people who are saying the nice thing, but behind their words, there's like a nasty energy. Some of you are going to be doing a really good job of just like moving beyond that, right? If you stay focused on these energies and understand what this inner light as the Empress, right? And being in a place of balance and homeostasis with this extra stability, focusing on what is going right within is going to be great for you, okay? And focusing on your connection to the divine. This is deepening for you, right? And as you do that, I really feel like more information is going to come in. More information is going to find you. I don't even think you're going to have to go anywhere to look for it. But this being in the needed focus says, you're going to have to go look for it unless you're doing this work to stay in alignment and stay committed to your foundation. Not in a way where you're not open to other people, okay? So we're not closing our minds here, but we're stabilized in our own spiritual connection, divine connection, and energy. That is the spiritual maturity that we're looking for in our lives as creators. Because we've taken the journey of grabbing the best essences from all the different things that we've learned and leaving out all of the nonsense and the drama vortexes and the energies that are of fear. Now, this is very interesting. So for our Page of Wands in the past position, this is where the Emperor is showing up with the Two of Pentacles. So some of you, taking a closer look there, some of you, what's being left behind is in the past is the action that you took. The Emperor is connected to Aries energy. That's that forward, headstrong kind of energy where it kind of just bulldozes and goes and does something. So for some of you, the doing has already happened. There might have been a little bit of an element of wishy-washiness or indecision, or even building confidence along the lines of, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to put myself out there and do it anyway. And I'll learn as I go. And honestly, I really like these energies together. And it's very nice to see the Emperor here in the past, because again, it's like the action that stabilized you and aligned you with your confidence. And then now in your needed focus, you can work with the Empress energies, which are more receptive, right? Now, the underlying key here, and this is the key in all of my readings, is that you're doing this work, right? That you're actually doing this work. My readings are not the kind of readings you can just, listen to and there's like little fleeting messages, just a surface level yes, no, or these are the characteristics of the energies. We go a bit deeper. And so what I'm really connecting in with is those of you who are either doing the deeper work or you're very willing and you're open to doing the deeper work. No matter where you're at on your journey, whether you've just started in that Fool energy and just kind of new to spirituality and to the healing process, or whether you've been in it for for a while, that's where you're going to be able to resonate with some of these messages. And honestly, as I reflect on this, and I reflect on my intention that this message reach those people who are in their creator abilities and who have connected to that energy, you all are doing amazing work. Like, I feel what our spirit team is telling us here, like, you are being celebrated. I'm getting chills. I'm getting the goosebumps here because it's just so exciting what you're doing and how strong and resilient and tenacious you are and how brave. There's a lot of bravery that I sense here, you know, and the ancestors that come before us, they're the ones who are also clapping like, you did what I could not do. I hear that from some of them. You did what I could not do. That's a specific message for some of you there. You did what someone in your family could not do, and you are being celebrated. Let's take a little drift into these future energies. We had that Four of Cups. So it's that treasure chest of wisdom that's available to us through our emotional energies, right? Sometimes the ones that we don't want to get into. We got the Seven of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. So let's take a look at those cards there. I'll hold them a little closer. The Seven of Cups, you know, in its base meaning, means you have choices. You have choices for how to approach these emotional energies. You have choices about what you do with the emotions, right? You have choices that are also coming up in the practical world because we have the Page of Pentacles. New choices finding you as you process the different emotional treasures, or for some of you where things are going more smoothly, you're reflecting upon that because that's part of the transformational process too, is a reflection phase, almost like a mini life review is kind of what I get for some of you. A new opportunity is going to be opening up in the physical world, maybe some money coming in, something new and fresh, and it all is based on choice and how you choose to navigate. With these energies coming up in that future position, this is something that you can choose to embrace and open yourself up to. This Page of Pentacles, all the pages, very curious. We have the wands, right? We have the wands, the cups, and the pentacles. The only one I haven't yet seen is the Page of Swords. So maybe the Page of Swords will come up. Who knows? It will come up if it's meant to. But we do have these fresher energies that want to come in, these youthful energies. And though we have completed maybe a cycle with one element in these new energies, we're getting into the others, but we're in the royalty cards now, right? We're not at the very beginning of the cycle. We're in kind of those graduated energies. We're going to look at this Page of Cups in our place of embodied empowerment here and get a little bit more information. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, so remember we had the Page of Cups, and this is the kind of energy, and we're seeing this in here, where the idea is to ride the waves, and we have a capybara. We have capybara, whatever it is. My kids love them. We have a couple bunnies in a boat, and we have a couple of orcas or killer whales, which have a connection to our land wolves in their heritage and evolution, which is really super cool. And they're either in the waves or attempting to ride the waves, right? So we're gaining mastery. And in our place of embodied empowerment, what are we gaining mastery of as we brave these ocean waves? We are learning how to let go of burdens in a powerful, powerful way. We got the Ten of Wands and the Tower. This is an energy of you can try to carry these burdens. Maybe for some of you, that is speaking to emotional burdens that you continue to carry because perhaps you're afraid. Perhaps you're afraid to let go something because it will change your identity somewhat. And it will. But that's part of your evolution. You're becoming a new version of yourself here. And so some of you are going to release something that feels very heavy. And I think even if it comes down suddenly, since this is your place of embodied empowerment, this represents a big release. Again, I'm going to go back to this being a good time for body work, for lymph drainage, fascia release, even just using the foam rollers or like a tennis ball to kind of work out an area that feels tight, deep, stretching. These things are going to be so, so good for you because your body is going to be releasing. For some of you, this is going to come up digestively, so do what you need to do to kind of protect your gut health and your immune system during this time as well. And you all know your body's best, so work with yourself and your greater being and your healthcare practitioners on that. Let's look at the Three of Cups energy where we're being supported and celebrated. What else do we need to know about this beautiful energy? And what's beautiful here is, as I pulled the cards, like the energy of Cancer came up. So that nurturing, loving energy. For some of you, this is that mother energy that maybe you missed out on in your life, or that aspect of mother within you where you might be holding on to guilt or mistakes. And the ancestors are saying, we're going to send unconditional love to your mother, to your maternal lineage, to you as a mother, to how you mother, to how you nurture, to your relationship to mothers, and your relationship to those energies with the King of Cups and the Chariot. These are very, very watery energies going on, which at the time that I'm doing this reading, we are really tapped into that water grand trined energy. I always say trined, but it's trine, Trine. So somehow I've noticed myself saying trined. Trine. All right. And the King of Cups says, you know what? You may think sometimes you're an emotional mess, but your guides and support system are coming in and saying, absolutely not. Like, you're a master of working through these emotions. So yes, you might feel like you've cried for days sometimes, and it's exhausting, and it is, and it can be tiring, or that you feel like you've done so much work on something and then another wave of emotion finds you, a wave of resentment or something like that. And your sacred guides and ancestors are all coming through and saying, you got this. You know what to do with it now, and you have control over this part of your life, over this part of your journey. In some ways, yes, is it about releasing control? Yeah, but not to just anything or anyone. It's about releasing control while in alignment. And that's what I'm getting some of you have come to the place of. You're able to let go because you're now in alignment, and the ancestors are loving this, okay? The ancestors, the holy medicine people, our guides that just stand beside us and encourage us to do such a good job. We're being celebrated. These energies of nurturing the self are improving and are being acknowledged and celebrated here. Self-care is being celebrated. So keep those things in mind as you traverse this transformational energy. There also, for some of you, is that deep, beautiful connection to the planet. So for those of you especially who have had a rough time with the mother wound or the mother energy, connecting in with Mama Gaia is particularly important for you. Because it feeds something in a beautiful connection that maybe you did not get in life, in this incarnation. Okay, remember, we have the Six of Cups, another uplifting celebratory energy in your environment. Why? Why are we celebrating here? Why are we being seen? Why are we experiencing this? Well, it's because we have been willing to go through with this Five of Pentacles the feelings of betrayal and abandonment that we've experienced. We've been face to face with the emotions that surround feeling left out, feeling like a second-class citizen, feeling like no one's going to pick you for their team kind of energy here. And we have been able to, with the High Priestess energy, we've been able to gain wisdom from that and understanding that someone else's behavior, and I'm getting the playground, y'all. I'm getting the playground when you were little. I'm getting like social settings with other kids, it kind of feels like. Maybe you're watching your own children interact and play, or grandchildren, or there's just some connection to the now that is rooted in a childhood feeling. As some of you are going through physical items and things like that and getting into the sentiment and nostalgia, it's just as important to remember the good and fun times and incorporate those. And so all of this is part of a process that's going to unlock actual free energy that's like trapped inside of you. I feel like on the other side of this, even though the process itself may feel exhausting, I do feel an energy boost in this new version of you that is coming about. And it's because of your courage to face some of these harder energies and understand them too. It's about seeing the forest through the trees. You understand some of these energies, like the 5 of Cups, the 4 of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles. They're minor energies, and you're understanding, oh, even though I feel this way right now, I know that if I stay with myself, and this is something that I do in my own practice, my own healing practice, when I'm feeling like drawn out or like I'm going to act out or have some sort of emotional overload, I get real with myself. I get down, I go take a shower, take a bath, and I just say, Stephanie, I am with you, and I am never leaving your side. I am committed to standing beside you as you go through this, and to be able to have your own back in that way, and maybe for some of you even being seen. Now remember, there's also, since I'm getting that child feeling, there's also children and young people who are very intuitive, who are picking up on your energy of being able to do this. And while they might not have the conscious maturity and awareness yet, they are picking up on the vibrational frequency. So this is, and I'm getting like almost, I just want to cry tears of joy, because I'm getting that this is very special. This is one of your gifts that you're offering to humanity and to the world. So do pay attention to the young people in your life and how they respond to you. They're like little barometers, and it's just so delightful to see you go through these things with such a strength. In our hopes and fears for that 2 of Cups, we got the Magician and the 4 of Swords. This is all about alchemizing the healing energies in our partnerships, okay? So when we alchemize the energy, so the Magician speaks to utilizing the elements and the alchemy, I really feel like those of you who are dealing with someone who thinks that they know it all, okay, and you cannot get a word in edgewise, you cannot argue with them, they just think they know it and that's it, and it's an absolute kind of feeling. I think that's really going to become apparent to you. I hope none of you are trapped in a partnership like that, but it definitely feels like a toxic trait that some of you may be dealing with in someone. It could be the workplace too. Wherever it is close to your heart, and it is very important. And this is one of the things that's being illuminated, because even though the Magician is about alchemy, if someone else's energy is too rigid and they're unwilling to go through the alchemical process, that's either going to mean that they finally go ahead and accept a shift into healing energies, or this has to be healed by some sort of distance, breakup, job change, something along those lines. Some of you are like on the precipice of that. This could be, for some of you, this could be a family member. So we're thinking about different levels of partnership. For some of you, this could be the mother wound, right? And if the other person is unwilling and too rigid, and no matter what you try to share or say, you've tried to share or say things, and now you're done with that. Maybe a way to heal this is to continue to take up the elements for yourself and master each on this next level of your journey. To me, there's also this vibe that like the universe is gonna take care of some of this as long as you stay true to yourself and honest with yourself about these things that are being illuminated, maybe even these secrets that are coming out, as long as you stay in alignment with what is true. Here at Creators on the Crest, we're about rising with the tide and aligning with the truth. And so we're always looking for that unmutable truth, that immutable truth in our relationships, activities, and day-to-day life. That has a lot of depth and dynamic in your hopes and your fears. It feels like some of you are drifting through cycles with another person too. And so maybe you keep finding yourself in the same cycle, and maybe the person is doing just enough changing to get to the next cycle, but you see like a pattern repeating, and you're hoping you can bring that to the light. You know, for some of you, this is not endings, but you are drawing an awareness to what are the partnerships in your life looking like, and are they ones that are going to stand the test of time? And you're having a reflective energy on that. For the Nine of Wands, yes, lots of energy, lots of depth in this reading. In fact, let's all take a nice deep breath. In through the nose, hold it for a moment, and let it out through the mouth, okay? Even I need to do that. This is a bit of an exhausting journey here for us creators with the Nine of Wands. And at the same time, there is empowerment. Remember, we had the King of Swords come in our current energies. And in the outcome, we're going to begin to recognize and build relationship with the Queen of Swords. More receptive energy, but also very good with communicating. Some of you are taking those sharper edges to your own words, and you're rounding those out. You're softening the edges. You're still being very truthful, but you're finding different ways of saying things. Some of you are recognizing the sharpness in other people, and you may communicate a boundary with somebody at the end of this. Yes, you're going to feel tired. Yes, you might need a nap, but these things are coming to be because of the intensity and the depth in which you've done the work. The better you are at that self-care along the way, the better the rest and rejuvenation cycle will feel as well. Now, we also got the Judgment card here to clarify our potential outcome, and this is feeling reborn again. This is being rebirthed, right? So in a way, right? From a certain perspective, we started with death and transformation, and the Judgment card comes up at the end and says, then you'll be experiencing that rebirth. And sometimes after you're birthing through a new cycle, you feel a little beat up. You feel like you need a little rest. Kind of like, you know, baby sleeps pretty quickly after they're born. They go back to sleep, right? After the excitement wears off and they've had a little bit to eat. There's that energy of the rebirth coming in. And I think that's going to be a really nice feeling at the end of it. And also an opportunity to really be aligned in thoughts. I'm not seeing a whole lot of active action at the end of this cycle or these energies for you, but I am seeing an alignment in the emotions and the thought, the mental bodies, which looks really, really nice and appealing. Today we're going to close off our reading with an oracle card from the Starseed Oracle, because with the energies at the time I'm recording this of the Three-Eye Atlas and the Perihelion and being close to our central core, our heart, we're going to really want to kind of peer into the veil here, the thinness of the veil, and it looks like we're getting two messages here. Two had to come out. Maybe this is why I use this cute little kawaii deck. The kawaii deck has little candy references in it, like cakes and sweets and candies and things like that. We got from the Starseed Oracle, surrender to the sweetness. This is Venus energy. This is pleasure, joy, and making love to life. Look at that. Beautiful card. So beautiful. Such pretty colors. Surrender to the sweetness. Enjoy the sweet moments, even when you're going through those sentimental energies and you're having your little life review and your little look back. pull out the sweetest things. Like, I know I can remember when candy, when I was little, I felt like the candy when I was little was really good. And maybe it didn't have all the stuff that they have in the candies now. It was like real sugar, just sugar for sugar's sake. Still have memories of things that they don't even make anymore, right? That I enjoyed, the little sweetnesses. But also in that person who was on the playground field and befriended you, or you sat down in the grass and you wove grass bracelets while everybody else was having their competitive game. You know, it's that kind of energy, those sweet little moments, pulling those to the forefront and illuminating those, allowing that energy to come forward in your life. Our second message is you're not alone, which we knew. I was really feeling the ancestors and everything, really feeling the thinness of the veil and reaching in there. Isolation, physical connection, and community. So we kind of have this push-pull, this tug of war. And I think when we're doing this level of work, there are times we want to be seen and we want to be with people, and there are times we want that solitude. Just knowing that even in those moments where we are maybe isolated from others, we're alone in our bedroom, we're sleeping by ourselves, having a nap, we're in the bath alone, that we are not alone, that we are surrounded by energies that have our best interests in mind and that are supporting our highest path forward. And we're getting that with this card right here. Wow, creators, cheers to that energy. Cheers to this reading. What a beautiful way to navigate this time that we're in, this time that we're here and transforming, and the planet's transforming with us, and the cosmos is transforming, and we're turning ourselves inside out. Stay tuned, because I'm about to get into the psychic weather forecast for this upcoming week, and I can't wait to tell you what I've tuned into. Creators, it's now time for this week's psychic weather forecast. We're going to see what's cresting, what energies are cresting, what is calming. We're going to look at a few of the astrological influences, and then I'm going to give you some practical action steps that you can take to navigate this week's psychic weather. First of all, what is cresting is emotional expression, all right? So you know that can come through in a lot of different flavors. I'm seeing two kinds of paths for people. For some, it will be a time of intense purging emotional matters and issues, especially if they've been buried deeply and it's time for them to come up and out. Depending on the person's blueprint and their maturity level with how they've evolved, it will depend on how their outward expression results. And then I'm seeing another emotional path that has more to do with authentic sharing, and this is about being witnessed and seen, and we saw some of that come up in the tarot readings. So if you haven't caught that yet, be sure to go back and have a look. There's also an opportunity during this time for a lot of creative reflection. So maybe you're taking a look at everything you've done over the last few years or the last few months, and you're pulling out the best, and perhaps that becomes something new. I do get that there's a no nonsense kind of energy to that, so you may feel like you want to get more to the point or go deeper into something, and that resolve actually builds through the reflection that you're doing. Now, what is calming this week is going to be, thankfully, energies of overthinking, that hamster wheel kind of mental activity. We had a lot of air energy going on. Now we're in a water grand trine energy, and so now we're flowing in the emotional energies rather than in those cyclic mental energies. So the overthinking is going to calm this week. Also, the energies of indecision. So those of you who've had trouble making a choice, you're going to see that the answers come through to you so that you can make that empowered decision. The energies of indecision are calming. The overactive mind and lack of sleep is also calming. So I will say, be sure to utilize the tools and techniques that help you get a good night's sleep. I was definitely picking up that some of you would like the sound of rain or a thunderstorm, and kind of one of those white noise machines might be helpful to you. The water grand trine energy also indicates that it's very important to stay hydrated. It's very important to have your water intake be high, so that as the emotions are coming up, your body is clearing them out as naturally as possible. I would also recommend prioritizing some gentle stretching at night before bed as well. That will all help with the sleep cycle. Since we're in this time where it's going to be easier to rest and sleep, take full advantage of it as a rejuvenation tactic as we move through these collective energies. Because remember, we also have Mercury retrograde happening on Halloween. So the veil is thin, and then we've got the retrograde energies coming in. And that to me is kind of a stage for misunderstandings, or for some of the sneakier, darker energies to be out and about, trying to cause a little havoc and chaos. I did feel that in this week's energies, it's very important to keep a watchful eye on children and youth and young people, especially in situations of fragile mental health. So if you've been thinking about a young one or a young person who might be having a struggle, checking in on them, nieces, nephews, keeping them a little closer in your awareness right now is important. I also saw some energies around bullying that were quite disturbing. So if you know of anyone that's being bullied, please speak up on their behalf. Please serve as a sacred steward for individuals who might be being treated poorly, especially these young people and youth. There's some emotional manipulation going on, and that's especially going to be true for people who don't have emotional maturity or intelligence and aren't facing and integrating their shadows. It's a great time actually to have some potent, powerful conversations with your kids and children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and speaking to them from your heart with love, from that beautiful perihelion place in your heart where your loving energies are just so close and so bright, and to teach them about discernment with people and situations, and also situational awareness, to be aware of their surroundings, to be watching, to be sure that they know where their trusted adults are so they can go to someone for help and don't try to take the matters into their own hands. Oftentimes we get so wrapped up in our own energies and what we're dealing with that it makes it more difficult to keep an eye on how the young people around us are being influenced, especially those that don't have that stable of an environment. So the psychic weather, I did get my little cards this week, is a stormy season this week. Okay, so you're going to see the storm. We've got the rain clouds, we've got the rain, we've got the lightning. You might have more of a severe storm, energetically speaking here. Others of you, you might just be a gentle rain for you at this time. And that concludes the psychic weather forecast for this week. If today's wave brought you clarity, be sure to like this video and share it with your spiritual circle. I would love to have more like-minded, like-hearted individuals be a part of this community. Be sure to set your notification bell for Creators on the Crest to all so you never miss another tarot and tea. I also look forward to seeing you at one of my upcoming live events, so keep an eye out for Frequency Friday and the live Q&A. As we say at Creators on the Crest, stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating.